Okay, so in this class basically we will see the BJT biasing. So before going with the BJT biasing, we'll see like how we need to go with the DC load line plotting in case of BJTs. So in case of diodes, we have seen how we can go with the DC load line plot. Okay, so in the BJT also we will see like how we will be starting with the DC load line plot. Okay, so before that we will just analyze, like in previous class we have seen like how the BJT were going to be work as an amplifier. Okay, so here BJT were made to be working in amplifier mode. So in that case the BJT was biased to be working in active mode. So this active mode is also called linear mode. Okay, so here in active mode the BJT can be made to be working as an amplifier. Okay, so there we were getting gain. So the gain that we were getting, that is change in V output divided by change in V input, that was around beta, that is very greater than 1. So we can get like it is going to be working as an amplifier. So amplification will be only taking place when the BJT is going to be working in active mode. Okay, so this is unshaded portion of the waveform. In that, this unshaded portion indicates the region where the BJT is going to be working in active mode. So this is the active mode region. Okay, so here we need to bias the BJT such that the biasing of BJT should be such that the operating point, so like this is one of the operating point, this is one of the operating point, and this D is one of the operating point. So operating point should be such that it should be within this region, this unshaded region. Okay, so this is the region where the BJT is going to be working in as an active mode transistor. Okay, so in that active mode the amplification property of the BJT can be obtained. Okay, but in this region also there is a point where we will be getting like the amplifier will be uh, the application of BJT as an amplifier will be such that the amplification will not be having any distortion. Okay, so suppose DC is the operating point. So here once we are going to make this transistor to operate at C operating point, so this C operating point will be decided based on the current. So this IB current is there, so IB current should be 10 microampere at this point. What will be the value of VCE and what will be the current value, that is output current value, IC. So IC1 and VCE1, so this is going like Q1 is the operating point, this is like Q2, and similarly this is Q3. So based on different IB current value we can get the different operating points. Okay, and this IB current is the input IB current, input current. So input current will be set by the user. Okay, so based on the whatever applied voltage we have applying to the input side, so the Q point will be decided by the IB current. Okay, so we will just see like how we will be deciding this Q point and what is the advantage of the Q point at C, Q point at B, and Q point at D. So is there any advantages or disadvantages associated with these different Q points, and what are that Q points that are basically need to be used so that we will be having the minimum distortion. So distortion means, suppose we are providing an input, this is the input, so output will be, for an amplifier, an amplified output should be there. So if this is the input, this should be the output. But sometimes what happened, like the at the output we will be getting the output like it should be this, but instead of this we will get the output that will be a distorted one. That means at the upper side we will be getting this, but at the lower side it is cut off. Okay, so this is a distorted output. Okay, this is not the desired output. Okay, this is the desired output. This is also an amplification, but it is with distorted. Okay, this is the amplifier output, perfect amplifier output. But other case will be like we are getting a distortion at the output side. Okay, so that in the positive side this clipping is going to be taking place. Okay, so this distortion takes place if we are having the operating point that is not the you can say optimum operating point. Okay, so we need to decide what is the optimum operating point, and how we can set this operating point we will see the next. Okay, so for that, suppose we are having this as the amplifier circuit. So this is emitter common emitter configuration. Okay, so this is common emitter. This is current direction is outward, that means this is p side, this is n side, and this is n side. This is p and p. So the emitter side is or you can say the input side is forward bias, the output side is reverse bias. Okay, so we need to just see the relation, voltage and current relations we need to just draw. So here we are giving the VBE, that is input supply voltage that we are providing, is an variable input. Okay, that means we can vary the input VBB, that is varying between 0 to 5 volt. So based on the variation of VBB we can get different current. So the current equation from by using the KVL we can get in the input side. So by KVL and input side we can get VBB is equals to, so that will be equals to whatever this is positive and this is negative, so this is VBE base to emitter voltage. So it is whatever current is flowing, so RB multiplied by IB, so voltage drop across this resistor, plus VBE. So from there we can get IB is equals to VBP minus VBE divided by RB. Okay, so this is how we can get the value of IB. So for this VBE is fixed, so VBE for silicon transistor will be 0.7 volt. RB will be a fixed value that will be decided by user, but it will be a fixed value. Okay, so but here we have taken the VBB variable, that means based on the different VBB value, that means applied supply voltage. So if we are applying the supply voltage between 0 to 5, so based on this VBB value we can get the different IB. So once we have different IB at the output side, with the help of amplification property of or the transistor property of this BJT, if it is going to be working as an amplifier, then it is common emitter. So for common emitter we know output current, that is IC, is equals to beta times IB. Okay, plus 1 plus beta times ICO. So this is for common emitter configuration. Okay, so once we decide this IB, so once we have decided this IB, we can get the IB value here. So by putting the IB value here we can get the value of IC. So from here we can get the value of IC. Okay, so once we have obtained the value of IC, that IC will be uh, deciding uh, the voltage through the collector and emitter terminal, that is VCE. Okay, so once we have this, so by using the KVL at the output side, by KVL at the output side, we can just get like VCC minus VCE divided by RC will be equals to IC. So this will be, by using the KVL we can get this by just simplifying the KVL at the output side, we can get here. Okay, so by putting the value of IC we can get the value of VCE. So VCC is fixed and RC will also be a fixed, so VCE we can get. So by putting this value we can get the VCE. So once we know the value of IC and once we know the value of VCE, then that value of IC and VCE will be our operating point value. So operating point will be decided based on the value of IB. So once we have known the value of IB, with respect to that IB, what is IC and what is VCE, so that point will indicate the operating point. Similarly, suppose the IB is 20 microampere at that time, this is the graph of 20 microampere of IB at that time. So with respect to that, whatever IC is coming out to be there, and with respect to that, whatever VC is coming out to be there, that will be your operating point. And this similarly we can get the operating point this also. So based on the IB we will be deciding the operating point. Okay, so this is like how we will be getting different operating point. So suppose we are having uh, we have fixed value of VBB such that we are getting the IB is equals to 200 microampere. Suppose this IBB, whatever IBB VBB we have applied, with respect to that we are getting the base current, that is 200 microampere. So for that base current we will be, by putting this base current we will get this current. So here beta is given. Okay, so beta for a transistor is already a fixed value that is already given. So beta DC for this BJT is given like 100. So once it is 100, so with respect to that IC will be, so IC will be beta times IB plus 1 plus beta ICO, but ICO is very less, so this value is neglected, so only IC is equals to or similar to like IB is represented here. So 200 microampere multiplied by 100 we will be getting 20 milliampere. So IC will be 20 milliampere with respect to this IC. So once we have 20 milliampere, so by using the KVL at the output side we can get the value of VCE. Okay, so we have just seen above, so we can get the value of VCE by putting the value of IC here. Okay, so once we know the IC we can be putting here, and VCC we know 10, RC we know 20 220 ohm, and VCE from there we can get. Okay, so we can get the IC as 20 and VCE is equals to 5.6. Okay, so 5.6 this and this, that will be giving out the operating point. Okay, similarly for other different base current, so with a 300 microampere, so suppose we are increasing this VBB, we are going to increase, so with respect to, by increasing this we can get the IB current increased. So IB current increased to 300 microampere. With respect to that, with 300 microampere we will be getting IC, and with respect to that IC we will be getting the VCE. So VCE will be this value and IC will be this, so this will be the operating point. Okay, similarly if we have further increased this VBB, and with respect to that we will be getting 400 microampere as the base current. So once 400 microampere is the base current, with respect to that we can get the IC. So IC will be beta times IB. Okay, so beta is 100, so that will be IC will be equals to 40 milliampere. So once it is 40 milliampere we can get the like IC is coming out to be 40 milliampere. Then VC we can get VCE is equals to VCC minus VCE divided by RC into RC is equal to RC. So VCE will be VCC minus IC RC. So from there we can get the value of VCE. So VCE is coming out to be 1.2. So 1.2 and 40. So this will be another operating point. So once we plot all these operating points we will be getting the plot of all operating points. So this is the plot of all operating points with respect to this circuit. So by combining all operating points, we will be getting a line. So this line will be called the DC load line. Okay. So this will be your DC load line. So basically this DC load line will be obtained from the equation like this equation. So this equation was the I. So from there we can get like this is the case. Okay. So VC is equals to coming out to be here. So the plot of DC load line will be the same as the plot of the output characteristics, that is between IC and VCE. Okay, so we will be plotting such that so we can get the output. This is like y equals to mx plus c type. Okay, so we will be transforming this into y equals to mx plus c. So y is equals to uh, y-axis. So on y-axis we have IC, so we will be making IC separate. So IC RC is equals to VCC minus VCE, and we need to separate the IC. So IC, by dividing both side by RC, we will be getting IC equals to VCC divided by RC minus VCE divided by RC, and we need to make in terms of here. So this is on the x-axis, so x-axis is this one. So it will be like IC equals to V minus VCE by RC plus VCC by RC. So it is equals to y equals to mx plus c. So m is equals to here, that is slope, will be minus 1 by RC. Okay, so this plot will be this one. Okay, and in the previous case, like in diode case also, we have already plotted this DC load line. So this DC load line is like when VC is 0, when in this equation we are going to put VCE equals to 0. At that time when VCE is equals to 0, IC equals to VCC by RC. So here IC saturation that will be given is, that will be VCC divided by RC, because at that time VCE equals to 0. When VCE equals to 0, at that time whatever IC is there, that is VCC divided by RC, that will be the I saturation. Similarly, the value of VCE such that IC is equals to 0. By putting IC equals to 0, we can get the VCE value will be equals to VCC. Okay, so this is VCC, that is VCE. VCE at which for IC equals to 0. For IC equals to 0, this is the VCE. Okay, so by joining these 2 points, okay, from this KVL equation or the output, KVL equation at output side. So this is the KVL equation at the output side. By limiting, by putting the value of VC equals to 0 and IC equals to 0, we can get 2 different points. So these 2 different points is nothing but the point where the active region operation is going to be switching in between, like beyond this point. If the graph we will be plotting, that will be beyond the saturation point, and below this it will be like beyond the cutoff point. So once we are going to put this DC load line on the output characteristics of the transistor, we can get like this is the graph. Okay, so this point is beyond the active region, that is in between the cutoff, it is the cutoff point. Okay, so this is the region beyond this. So this is the region when VC is equals to 0.2 something. So this is the point this transistor will be working in saturation region. Okay, so we need to make sure, like to make a transistor working as an amplifier, we should be selecting the operating point. Okay, operating point on the DC load line only, and at that DC load line such that all the operating points are within the active region. Okay, or the linear region. Okay, if we have selected such that, then that transistor will be working as an amplifier. Okay, so how amplification takes place, we can just see from here. So just see in this diagram. So here the same like and but this Q point we have already seen. So in that now we are providing, so along with biasing, so VBB we have provided the biasing. Along with biasing we are providing the AC input also. So here in the previous case, like while finding the Q point, we have seen like while varying the VBB we are getting the variation in the base current. Okay, some base current value is going to be changed, so with respect to that operating point was changing. Similarly we are applying the AC input, so along with DC we are applying the AC. Okay, so in the previous class also, like while getting the transition rectifier concept, we were getting like if this is the AC, so here this is the AC signal, but here DC content is 0. Okay, suppose this is a 0 level. Okay, so this is DC value is 0. Suppose another AC value is there, that is having this value. Okay, and this is Vm. So this is the AC, but its DC content is Vm. Okay, so your DC content is Vm. Okay, so similarly here the DC content of the AC signal is being provided by the DC biasing. So this VBB will be providing the DC level to the AC signal. So AC signal will be a time varying signal, but at what point, at what DC level this time this AC signal will be varying, that will be decided by the DC biasing. Okay, and this DC biasing will be decided by the DC biasing circuit or the BJT biasing circuit. So that we will be going to analyze in the next few uh, concepts. Okay, so this is like a DC level is there on which we are imposing the AC signal. So if you might have the confusion like two signals AC and DC are connected in same, so this concept is called the superposition. So two signals are connected in the series, then the effect of these two signals will be coming together on the circuit, complete circuit. Okay, so that can be analyzed by like two signals are there, superposition of two signals are going to be take place. So one signal effect of one, and if we want to analyze it separately, then the overall we can get the effect combinedly. Okay, so this is the superposition of signals basically. So here uh, suppose this AC is not there, then with respect to 3.7 volt of VBB we will be having some base current. With respect to this base current we will be having some IC. With respect to this IC we will be having some VCE value. Okay, so once we have the VCE and we have the IC, we can get the operating point. Okay, so with respect to that, the operating point that with respect to that is coming out to be like 300. So here by putting this 3.7 we can get like by putting here IBQ. This is IBQ, that means Q point IB is by putting the 3.7. So once we have put the 3.7 we can get minus 0.7 divided by 10k. So we have provided the 10k, so it is 300 microampere. So 300 microampere the current. So 300 microampere, with respect to 300 microampere, what is ICQ? So we have found out that is 30 milliampere. So ICQ is 30 milliampere, and with respect to that VC value is this one. So VC is 3.4. So VC is 3.4. So 3.4 and 30 milliampere will be the point called operating point. So along this operating point, so that means this operating point is like this 3.4 and 30 milliampere of VCE and IC will be deciding the operating point. At this operating point we are having the base current, that is 300 microampere. So with respect to this voltage there will be some current. So because of this AC voltage there will be some AC current also. So that AC current, because here input is current, so we need to consider this input voltage in terms of current. Okay, so we are whatever current effect is there of the input voltage, the similar effect will be provided like here. Initially if only AC is applied, it will be having this type of signal. Suppose if AC is applied, so its AC will be at 0 DC value. But when this AC is provided with a DC value, so this AC will be shifted to a DC value, that is whatever DC value we are providing by this value. Okay, so in terms of current, if we are talking, this is in terms of voltage. Okay, similar concept will be there if we are talking about the current. So that means if this is the current, suppose this is IC, current of the AC signal, or I in, we can just write, like this is IN. So input current is there, this is having DC value is 0. Similarly, this is the now once we have applied the VBB, so now we are going to have some IB. So IB, that is 300 microampere. So with respect to 300 microampere, now we are going to apply the same input. So because there is some DC current also, so this will be the input to the, this value will be 300 microampere level. So this AC input is having some DC value, DC is not equals to 0. So your DC content is 300 microampere. So at 300 microampere there will be AC input that we are applying. So here this is our input. Okay, so this is the input to the circuit. So input is provided. So here we are going to provide the AC at 300 microampere. That means AC is varying, suppose it is varying between, so the its value is, suppose its value is 100 microampere, maximum value and the minimum value. Okay, so it is having 100 peak value in positive and negative direction. So if on 300 microampere we have superimposed this AC signal, so its maximum value will be 400 microampere and the below value will be 200 microampere. Okay, so similar concept is here also. So at 300 microampere, so suppose AC that we have implemented is having 100 microampere magnitude, so it will be, maximum value will be 400 and the minimum value will be 200. So with respect to this 400 and 200, we can get this is the operating point, and with respect to 200, this is the operating point. So this is the range. So with respect to that, the value of with application of AC, there will be variation in VCE also and IC also. So this variation in VCE will be between 1.2 to 5.6. Similarly, with respect to AC signal applied at the input side, we can get the output current that will also be varying between this range. Okay, so that output will be varying in this range. Okay, so this will be the output. So whatever input we are applying, with respect to that we are getting the output. So here this is input, this is output. Okay, so once we know the input and output, we can get the gain calculation also. Okay, so this is how the basic amplifier should be working. This is the ideal case of working. But now there is some distortion. So how this distortion takes place, we will see that. So suppose we are providing the DC value, this is the DC value over which we are providing the AC input. So if amplifier is there, okay, so we will be getting the DC output. This DC value will be there, on that there will be an AC value, that will be amplification of this. Okay, so here whatever we have provided, it is opposite to that. So this is input is this type, but output we are getting this type. So this is called 180 phase shift. Okay, 180 degree uh, phase shift. So it is obtained in common emitter case. If common emitter type of amplifier is there, we will be getting this type of phase shift. We will see that into the later classes. Okay, or that we will see into the later. Okay, so next is like, suppose this is the same is there, but here some, this is called linear operation. That means we are forcing this amplifier to be working in active mode, then it is called linear operation. Okay, or linear mode. If it is in linear mode, amplification will be correctly taken. But now if it is going to be working in non-linear mode, that means its operation is such that in some time it is going to be working either in cutoff or in saturation. So if it is going to be working in cutoff mode, So if it is going to be working in cutoff mode, then output will be obtained like this upper positive one is cut off or clipped. Similarly, if it is working non-linear such that some of the portion of this input signal have made the transistor to be working in saturation region, then there will be some cutoff in the this region. Okay, so how we have obtained that we will see into the next points. Okay, so this is like we were expecting this as the output, but we are getting this as the output and this is the output. So these two outputs are called distorted output. Okay, that means to avoid this distorted output, we need to bias the circuit such that we should be getting this perfect output, not a distorted one. Okay, so to avoid this distorted output, we need to bias the BJT. So biasing is required, so that we will be getting an perfect output, not a distorted output. So that can be done with the proper selection of the output operating output point. Okay, so this is the figure that is showing the distortion, how the distortion is going to be taking place. Okay, so suppose here is transistor is driven into saturation because Q point is too close to the saturation for the given input signal. So here this is the operating point, so operating point is very close to the saturation level. So we have already seen like this was the point, so beyond that saturation mode of operation of BJT is going to be taking place. This is the point called cutoff point, so beyond this cutoff mode of operation will be there for BJT. Okay, so if we are selecting Q point close to saturation point, then what happens is like this is the point. So at this point will be the where IBQ will be there, and this is the variation in the input signal. So this is input signal, that is AC input, that is varying, and if by variation it reaches to saturation region, so this portion of the input signal reach to the saturation. Okay, so this portion has reached to the saturation, but in the cutoff side or in the downside it is still in the active region only, that means linear region only. Okay, so there will be no clipping. Okay, so this is the input, that means we are providing, so up to here, up to we can just see, so from here to here, this is the region of active region, that means in this portion transistor is working in active region, then the amplification will be taking as it is, but beyond this there will be no amplification because it has reached to saturation. Okay, so if it has reached to saturation, this portion of the input signal will be cut off. Okay, there will be no amplification taking place here, so whatever input we are providing, the output will be fixed. Okay, that means the saturation means the current, whatever the saturation current that is there, that is going to be reduced. Okay, so with respect to that, the output that we will be getting is a constant output. Okay, so this was the case in case of saturation, output positive side is clipped off. Okay, similarly in the second case, like here, suppose we are going to put the Q point much closer to the cutoff region side. So this is the point where we will be starting the cutoff region. So up to here this was the active, but beyond this the cutoff region starts. So if the Q point is closer to cutoff region, then this portion will be reaching into the cutoff. Okay, so this is cutoff side. Now the transistor is going to be working in cutoff. So for this portion the output is like, for this VCE that we will be getting will be a fixed value, and with respect to that only the cutoff is there, so there will be some cutoff in the output current also. The output current will be fixed beyond this, so beyond this there will be no output current, that means the collector current is constant. Okay, so at that time we will be getting a constant value. Okay, so the output that we will be getting is like a clipped one. Okay, so that's why we should be avoiding that also. And this is the region like where the operating point we have selected such that the input signal is being cut off from the both side, upside and downside, by using the region, because the transistor is going to be working in saturation also, in cutoff also, but it should be working only in active region, but it is going to be entering into saturation and cutoff also. So the clipping on the top and bottom is going to taking place because it is reaching into saturation as well as the cutoff side. Okay, so here transistor is driven into both saturation and cutoff because the input signal is too large. So here if input signal we have applied is very large, then this could be the uh, output, like the output that we are obtaining is going to be cut off. Okay, so these are the different points that we need to keep in mind, like our operating point should be such that it should be between the middle of this load line. So this is the basic idea. Okay, so here also it is in the middle, but the input signal that we are applying is of high magnitude, or it is having higher value. Okay, so that can also cause the clipping on both sides. So we need to provide the input signal that should be very small, or the change in input signal should be less. Okay, and also to avoid this clipping, we should be selecting the middle of the Q point. Okay, so there are some points that we can note. So here we can write like a transistor can work as an amplifier only when the Q point is within the active region. Okay, so Q point should be within the active region. That means, so as we are applying the AC signal, so AC signal is also going to change the base current. So this base current will be, if base current is going to be changing, then IC will be changing. If IC is changing, then VCE will be changing. So IC and VCE changing, that means the Q point will change. So Q point should be changed such that after change also it is within the active region only, then the amplification, perfect amplification will be taking place. Otherwise there will be some type of clipping. Okay, so we should be setting all the Q points such that it should be in active region only. Okay, and also this Q point, this Q point is also a temperature dependent or temperature sensitive. That means what we can call it, like if we are going to increase the temperature, then ICO, that is leakage current, will increase. Okay, we have seen that if we are going to increase the temperature, for every 10-degree rise in temperature, ICO will doubles. Okay, so that means if ICO increase, that means IC will increase. So if IC is increase, VCE, so if IC is going to be increasing, then VCE value will be going to decrease. Okay, that means because the temperature also, the IC and VCE is going to change. That means we should be making the Q point such that even if because of the temperature the Q point is going to be changed, then also that Q point should remain such that the transistor is in active region only. Okay, so because of this, uh, that means because of the temperature sensitivity also, the Q point, so because of temperature increase or decrease, so because of temperature increase or decrease, the Q point can reach into the saturation or cutoff. So we should be avoiding this. Okay, that means we should be making the Q point such that even if some small change in temperature is there, then also the Q point should be within the active region only. Okay, so here we can just write like the transistor will provide maximum power gain or maximum power gain or maximum amplification when Q point is in the middle of the DC load line. So we have seen in the uh, figures also, like if the Q point is in the middle, then there is the max chance of getting the maximum uh, gain or the maximum amplification. Okay, so if we are shifting the Q point towards the saturation side or the cutoff side, then there will be distortion. So if distortion is going to be taking place, the amplification will be reducing. Okay, so we need to make sure the Q point should be set such that it should be in the middle. So the middle of Q point should be in the middle of a load line, then that will be providing us the maximum amplification. Okay, so and also we can note like if shape of output signal if shape of output signal is different from the shape of input signal, if shape of the output signal is different from the shape of input signal, then it is said to be a distorted output. Okay, that means for a stable circuit, the variation in Q point due to temperature must be small. Okay, so to avoid this distorted output, we need to make sure like the variation in Q point should be minimum due to the temperature variation. If there is some temperature variation, then the Q point should be variation should be minimum. So this is the points that we have seen, like how the load line is defined and what is the operating point value that will be affecting the transistor operation, that means amplification uh, operation of the transistor. Okay, so if the Q point is closer to saturation side, it will be distorting the output, and also if the Q point is closer to the cutoff side, we will be getting the distorted output. So to avoid this, we need to have a proper biasing of the transistors. Okay, so the proper biasing of transistors are of different types. So and what type of biasing is good or bad, that will be decided by stability factor also. So we will see some of the types by which the transistor is biased. Okay, so before that we will see like how the stability of transistor varies because of the biasing. Okay, so here we will see on what parameters the stability of the transistor depends. Stability of amplifier circuit stability of BJT circuit is affected by. So here there are different uh, points on which the stability of the BJT is going to be affected. So one is by temperature instability. If temperature instability is there, then there will be variation in different parameters of the transistor that will be affecting the Q point. So there will be less the performance of the circuit will be reduced. Okay, so we will see that. Okay, so if temperature instability we are talking about, so suppose the one is ICO. So ICO we already know. If we are going to increase the temperature, then ICO value will also increase. That means Q point will be going to saturation side, because ICO increasing means current will increase. So as current is increasing means the operating point will be switching to the saturation side. Okay, the second is like VBE, base to emitter voltage. So in case of diode we have seen, like in case of diode, so the diode voltage that was VD, so diode voltage were changing with respect to time. That means dVd divided by dt, if we are talking about this value was like 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. So in case of diode, so this VBE is again in case of BJT it is like a diode voltage only, but it is the case in case of the BJT. So in case of BJT it is like VBE with respect to temperature depends in similar manner, like it decreases, but its value is around 2.3 millivolt per degree centigrade for BJT. Okay, that means if we are going to increase the temperature, it is implies like if temperature is increasing, then VBE value will be decreasing. If we are going to decrease the VBE, so by using the current equation, so like in the previous circuit we have seen the current IB was given by like VBB minus VBE divided by RB. Okay, so what does it mean? If we are going to increase the temperature, VBE is going to decrease by this concept, like okay, so it is going to decrease. So if VBE is going to decrease, that means IB will be increasing. That means IB is going to increase. So if IB is going to increase, IC value is going to increase. Okay, if IC value is going to increase, then VCE is going to decrease. So if IC is going to increase, that means the Q point will be shifting to saturation side. Okay, okay, so that means because of the temperature we can get ICU variation and VBE variation, and because of this two variations we are going to have increased uh, collector current. So as collector current is going to increase, the Q point is going to move into the saturation side. So if it is going to move the saturation side, that means it is going to distort the output signal. Okay, so we need to avoid that. Okay, another uh, thing that basically going to distort the signal, that means going to affect the stability. So if distorted output is we are getting, that means the stability of the circuit is less. Okay, so another parameter that is going to affect the temperature stability is basically like replacement of transistor. That means if we are going to replace the transistor such that Suppose any transistor is there that is having a value of 0.85. So alpha is having 0.985 for a transistor, and we have replaced this by an alpha that is 0.98 value 98 only. That means there is a change of 5%. Okay, so sorry, 0.5%, 0.5% change in 0.5% change in alpha value. Change in alpha value. Okay, if alpha value is changing by 0.5, then the beta will be changing by putting the value, we can get like beta value will be changing by around 34%. That means a small change in alpha is going to affect 34% by to the beta value. Okay, that means the gain of the transistor is going to be affected very rapidly or very high. That means that we can say, that means for a stable amplifier, the gain of the amplifier should be like independent of the parameters like alpha beta and whatever parameters is like VBE and ICO. So whatever gain of the transistor is there, that should be the gain of the transistor should be independent of the transistors parameters, that is ICO, alpha beta and VBE. So these are the different parameters of the transistor that a user can change, and also, sorry, not the user can change, but these are the uh, values that the parameters that can be changed based on the replacement of the transistor or the because of the temperature variation. Okay, so we need to avoid this transistor replacement also, or we need to compensate the effect of temperature instability. Okay, so to basically increase the stability of the circuit, we need to bias the circuit such that it should not be having stability problem. Okay, so here, as we have seen here in the previous slide, so here we are getting uh, the temperature variation going to affect the ICO and VBE, and also here the alpha or beta value is going to be changed. Okay, because of the transistor variation. So based on these variations, there are some stability factors that is defined for the BJTs. Okay, so we will be seeing. Okay, so basically we are seeing stability factor. One of the stability factor is S, that is defined by change in IC because of the change in ICO. Okay, it is such that VBE and the beta is constant. So if VBE and beta is constant for a transistor, then the change in IC because of change in ICO will be S, that is stability factor, one of the stability factor. Okay, so another stability factor defined is S dash, that is represented by SV. This is like IC with change in VBE. If VBE is changing such that ICO and beta is constant. Another stability factor is S double dash, that is represented by S beta. It is like IC is changing with respect to change in beta. This is defined for ICO and VBE is constant. Okay, so here it is like we can see, so only S, that is change in IC by change in ICO value, we will be considering this stability factor only. We are considering like VBE and beta is constant always. Okay, So we will be seeing all the circuit performance based on this stability factor. Okay, so we can see stability factor, that is DIC divided by DICO, okay, for VBE and beta constant. Okay, so for common emitter configuration case, if it is working as an amplifier, and as amplifier means it is working in active region, if it is working in active region, then the IC will be given by beta times IB plus 1 plus beta times ICO. Okay, so if we need to find out S, then we will be differentiating this complete equation by ICO. So by differentiating with respect to ICO, we can get like DIC divided by DICO will be equals to beta times DIB divided by DICO. We don't know whether this IB depends on ICO or not, so we will be just getting this value, and with respect to that it will be 1 plus beta. Okay, so this we can write like DIC by DICO is equals to beta times DIB. Suppose we are going to divide and multiply by DIC divided by DICO plus 1 plus beta. So this DIC by DICO is there, so we will be taking outside by taking the common, we will be taking it outside. That means DIC, sorry, DIC divided by DICO, by transferring this on this side and taking DIC by DICO common, we can get 1 plus beta DIB by DIC is equals to 1 plus beta. Okay, so from there DIC divided by DICO is equals to 1 plus beta divided by 1 plus beta DIB by DIC. So this is nothing but the S value, that means stability. So stability of a circuit is basically given by 1 plus beta divided by 1 plus beta, 1 plus beta into this is into DIB by DIC. So by comparing the value of DIB by DIC, that means change in IB with respect to IC, or change in IC with respect to IB, what is this value with respect to that, we will be getting the value of stability factor. So this is stability factor, when the what should be the stability factor, and how a circuit or how a BJT circuit should be considered whether it is stable or not. So we can get that for a stable system, it would be such that if we are going to increase the IC, then IB should be decreasing. Okay, so from where this came, we can just go into the previous. Okay, so we can see here in the second case, like if we are going to, it is the variation between del IC by del VBE. If VBE, that is base to emitter voltage is there, if base to emitter voltage is going to increase, then IB is going to increase. Okay, or if base to emitter voltage is going to decrease, then IB will increase. Sorry, so if we are going to increase this VBE, IB value will be decreasing. Okay, or if we talk about the temperature concept, like the S value, S dash value should be negative if we have a stable system here. Why? Because if temperature, suppose if temperature is going to be increasing, then VBE value will be decreasing. So if VBE is going to decrease, then IB value will increase. So if IB is going to increase, then IC will also be increasing. Okay, that means if we talk about the relation between IC and VBE, we can get like, if VBE is decreasing, IC is increasing. That means is of opposite nature. In this one and this one also, if we are going to increase the ICU, IC will be increasing. If we are going to increase beta, IC will also be increasing. So it is having positive relation, but this is having negative relation. Okay, so as this is negative, then this system will be considered as the stable system. So that means in terms of the concept here, we can say like, if a system is stable, it should be such that the variation of IB and IC should be of opposite nature, or if IC is increasing, then IB should be decreasing, or if IC is decreasing, then IB should be increasing. Okay, so we will just get the concept, like it is implying that we can get like del IB by del IC should be less than 0, because these two is having opposite nature. That means differentiation of these two should be less than 0. Okay, then the system should be stable. Okay, so from this equation, like stability equation, we can get like, if we are having the, if suppose DIB by DIC is equals to -1, that means it is less than 1, less than 0 is there. So by putting the -1 here, we can get like S value is coming out to be 1 plus B divided by 1 uh, plus, just a minute, there is a difference, like, okay, so here one concept, like when we are taking it this way, so it will be a negative, not a positive value. So this will be 1 minus. Okay, that means here it will be minus. Okay, so by putting the del IB by del IC equals to this, the stability value will be 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus plus, it will be, so beta, that is 1. That means if S is equals to 1, then the system is stable. Okay, so it will be calling like the system is stable if the S value is 1. Okay, this is the first case. Suppose in the second case, like if del IB by del IC is less than 0, then if it is less than 0, then we can say like, stability, that is S value should be less than 1 plus beta. Why? Because so mm, so this is 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus something. So if this is less than 0, that means this value will be some positive value. Okay, so if it is some positive value, so 1 plus beta will be divided by some positive value, so it will be less than 1 plus beta only. So S value is less than 1 plus beta. So if this is the case, then the circuit is stable system. Okay, third case is like, uh, if uh, this del IB by del IC is value that is greater than 0, then if del IB by del IC that is greater than 0, then the system will be unstable. Okay, the system will be unstable. Okay, so finally we can say like the S value should be ranging between 1 plus beta to 1 to have a stable system. Okay, so for a stable system the S value should be ranging between this and this. Okay, so this is all about the stability. So next, from the next class onwards, we will be seeing different methods or different biasing techniques through which we can bias the BJT circuit, and with respect to that we will be getting different type of stability values. So which system is stable or which biasing method is stable, then we will be seeing that into the next class. Thank you.